Hi, this is Misha. Just wanted to bring a little video on gun I've done here. This is a Polish AKM built from an original Radom. At the time it would have been Luxic Radom Circle 11 parts kit on a Morrissey receiver with an original barrel. And I've got some accessories here. We'll look at those first real quick and then get into the gun itself. Have a typical mid-style 3-cell mag pouch. Got the oil bottle. This is kind of the de facto generic oil bottle used in Poland for all kinds of things, from the PM63 rack all the way up to some light machine guns. Just kind of a one-size-fits-all. And we have a Polish bayonet here, Bakelite grips, metal scabbard with the insulator, very standard AKM bayonet, doubles as a wire cutter. So I've always had a thing for Polish guns. And I've had a underfolder build from one of the earlier kits that had the original barrel, whole front end still intact, done years ago by Allied Armament and sold through Atlantic Firearms. But for a long time, the fixed stock kits were much less common than the underfolders. It was mostly underfolder kits that were imported back 2004 through 2008. But then, a year or two ago, Arms of America started getting in the fixed stock kits that the Polish military was surplusing out. Now, these guns were demilled, of course, into kits. The original guns are really 60s and 70s dated. They had some newer ones, but they were mostly older guns they were done with. And so there's some interesting variations. And it was really neat to be able to get a Polish fixed stock kit. I've always thought the Polish guns had very high fit and finish, even perhaps the best in the com block era, certainly for military mass production. Now, we have a video on the history of the Polish AK, so I'm not going to really go into that much here, but let's just say that, originally Poland manufactured the AK Type 3 under license from the Soviet Russians. They would initially name it as the PMK, then the WZ 1960 for the grenade launcher. And they would keep these in production until about 1966, when they were phased over into an AKM license produced clone or copy, whatever you want to call it. Many people call these PMKMs for the fixed stock and PMKMS for the underfolder. But this seems to be an American collector's designating. The Polish military seems to simply call these the KBK AKM and KBK AKMS. This information I obtained last year directly from Poland because I was very curious with the actual name. And it seems like in Poland the idea was, when it was a Polish design, or at least heavily modified in Poland, it would receive a year designator. That WZ 1960, WZ60, while it was a milled AK Type 3, it had quite a few adaptations to make it into a rifle grenade launcher. For example, a specific gas block, redesigned a dust cover latch, a different style of buttstock for attaching a boot. It was equipped with a grenade sight. So things like that would get their own designations. Same reason that WZ-88 Tanto has its name, or guns that were wholly designed in Poland, like the PM63 rack. Whereas guns that were just copied in Poland would retain their original Russian designations, such as the WZ-33 Tokarev, or the AKM we have here. So I purchased this kit from Arms of America. It was one of their already head-spaced kits, serial matching. I wanted an earlier one. The guns manufactured from 1966 through 1968 had many leftover features of the original milled AKs. They would have blued finish. They would have the bolt carrier left in the white. They would just have a simple muzzle nut. They would have hardwood furniture, at least the lower handguard and the buttstock. They would use an early style of the Bakelite grip with a concave checkering to it. And they just had a very nice fit and finish. Of course, they had mostly otherwise AKM features. We have the lighter profile barrel of the AKM. We have the AKM bayonet lug. We have the AKM gas block with the ports on it. We have the AKM solid gas tube. We have the swell in the lower handguard. We have the sling attached to the handguard retainer. We have the ribbed top cover. We have the 1,000-meter rear sight. We have the lightning cut in the bolt carrier, and also there's one on the bolt. And of course we have a stamped receiver. We have the standard AKM rear trunnion with the 2 screws on the top and no tang on the bottom. So it was a transitional period. Now interestingly, while we had hardwood stocks and lower handguards originally, the upper handguards almost always seemed to be laminate. And I would imagine this is because making this out of hardwood, it becomes very brittle. Russia did use hardwood upper handguards, and they're very, very easy to crack. So I'd imagine even if they used hardwood, it was replaced very early by laminate. Same with the grip. We have kind of a blacker grip with the inverted checkering. Later they would go to the kind of a convex checkering that we're more familiar with, and they would go more to a brown and then a red and almost even an orange color later. But the early ones are kind of speckled black with some brown in them. They would go to a paint over phosphate finish, or at least some people say just a paint finish. Either way, they would go away from bluing by 1969. So you're going to have a blued receiver top cover barrel, painted top cover receiver barrel. However, there was a small transitional period where we could have painted plus still a bolt group left in the white. However, by 1970, they were going to a painted bolt group as well. Probably better for rust resistance, but also didn't make the action quite as nice and smooth. They would also get away from the hardwood furniture, going to full laminate, the Polish laminate we all know today, which is very attractive wood. This one has a 2nd generation sling on it. It's Polish. Has the front tab here with the metal. The earliest ones have a larger front tab and the metal is essentially gone. It's a smaller style. Later they would just go to a more conventional AK. Just tighter in there. And so yeah, that's the difference. So let's talk about this kit a bit, what we have here. These kits were sold in several different fashions by Arms of America. You could buy just a loose kit, or you could buy one that was already headspace with an original barrel. Now the 1960s barrels or 70s barrels, depending on the date of your kit, had to be cut up. Unfortunately, the laws after 2005 require it. But the good news is brand new production 16¼ inch cold hammer forged chromelined barrels that are even blued are coming in from Poland, manufactured at FB-Radom. So they're the exact same quality, style, shape, profile, all that of the original. And so what Arms of America was doing was populating the original parts on these barrels and then headspacing them to the bolt group and selling them as essentially a nearly ready-to-go kit. They also had all these accessories, including some blued magazines, the bayonets, pouches. Pretty neat stuff. And of course, kits may not all be matching, but ones like this were. Matching top cover. The bolt group matches, which is pretty neat. Your rear sight could be matching. This one has the earlier style rear sight with the lightning cut in it. Later ones are just be smooth under here. And of course we have our gas tube, which could be matching as well. Now I say could be because some kits had parts that were probably replaced in military service with virgin parts, so they could be unnumbered, which is common, or they could be lined out, have original serial numbers that did not match and then were lined out and then new numbers stamped over, or they could just be straight up mismatched. Kits kind of came in all forms because these are all service guns. These are all, you know, made in the 60s, and they were the earliest AKMs, so unlike some of the later AKM productions when they already had enough, they were needing these, and so these guns have seen service for decades. We did an earlier video looking at actually it was a first year production Romanian PM63 kit that was also from Arms of America, and that was still in the kit form, the head spaced form. This came in the same exact way with the whole front end. We just riveted it into a Morrissey stamped receiver. The receiver is blued. Does a good job of matching the kit. It does have X and Y stamps on the side. Cosmetically very appealing. They also help reinforce your trigger pinholes, keeping them from egging out. That's why the Russians originally did it. So that's neat. Morrissey actually provides the stampings for Nodak Spud, so the quality is very, very good for the money especially. And I picked this kit even though it has a little more wear than some of them. I just like it. It's a very smooth, the build went together quite nicely. I even used Polish rivets in it because why not? Make it all Polish. And I'm just very happy with it. It really kind of goes to my Polish collection. When these were coming around, I knew I didn't need another AKM. I've got plenty, but I figured I'd probably end up getting one and found a good deal on this one. It had one or two small blims, so they knocked a few bucks off, and can't remember what they were right now. I think there was maybe a non-serialized part like the gas tube or something. It was pretty minor. Also, the dust cover's a little dented up back here, which I'll probably pop out one day, but it's all just honest old wear. It looks like a good gun that was made 50 years ago. And with all the barrel work already done, all the hard stuff was done. It all fits together quite nicely. So I just thought we'd share. Really like Polish guns. If you'd like to share your own in the comments below, we'd love to hear about them. If you're interested in Polish guns, you might also click the playlist. We have a playlist just dedicated to various Polish military guns. If you liked the video, we'd appreciate it if you'd click like. And if you'd like to help support the channel, please click on and check out the link to our Patreon page. This is Misha, and we'll catch you next time.